All right, everybody. Good morning. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. Fantasy Football Week 7 is upon us. If you're new to the channel, of course, always hit that subscribe button and the notification button if you haven't done so already. Lot to get to today. Lots of injury news, big name players. Also some trade deadline chatter. And, we got some status updates on Davante Adams and Bill Belichick going forward in terms of their standings with their respective teams. We're going to get into all of that. So busy day today, like always. Instant injury updates throughout the rest of the day, and of course the wrap up stream tonight. So make sure that you are all a party to that. Just getting all my paperwork in place here for today's stream. So yeah, and again, also fire up your questions in the chat. Whatever you need in terms of start sit questions and things of that nature. So early this morning, we got some clarity on a couple of situations. Aaron Jones is expected to play for the Green Bay Packers. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury since week 1. Like I believe he was running back week 1, pulled up lame on a 40+ yard touchdown run, and hasn't been the same since, right? I mean, he tried to gut out one of the games and he clearly wasn't 100%, probably even suffered a setback, had that late downgrade a couple of weeks ago. But it looks like he's coming back today, and thank God for the Packers, because A.J. Dillon, I think they know now after this season, they just got to part ways with A.J. Dillon. He's just not a good running back. I mean, it was a sound initial strategy pairing a power back with a speedster like Aaron Jones in a era in the NFL where you have all committees everywhere. But it's just really not working. And they need the big play element and that diversity that Aaron Jones brings to the game in terms of his pass receiving and to go with his running. And then also this morning, we found out about the Rams. So this Rams running back situation is one big mess, right? Everybody went out and got picked up Evans, the kid, thinking he was automatically going to be the guy once, Kyren Williams hit the IR. And how about that Kyren Williams situation? When this first happened, he's fine, not a big deal, day to day. And now he's on IR, right? So just add another running back to the growing list of injured running backs this season, which is, again, why I always say to not draft running backs early for that, due to the heavy nature of injuries at the position. But now we learned this morning that it appears that Darrell Henderson and Royce Freeman will be splitting carries, with Freeman possibly getting the first touch on the first drive, relegating Evans to really just the third back. So if you have Evans in your lineup, you might want to think long and hard about putting him in there. Now, I'm not saying you put Freeman in there. I'm not saying you put Darrell Henderson in there, especially off the street with Darrell Henderson. Let's see how this translates, how this plays out on the field before we start responding to it in terms of putting guys into the lineup. But that to me makes this one big muddled mess that we should just rather watch on. And also, what this is going to do is it's just really going to force the Rams to throw it now in the red zone. They've been relying on Kyren Williams to take in carries around the goal line. Now they're probably going to turn to the pass with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Nacua has taken that expected step back behind Cooper Kupp, but he did drop a touchdown pass last week, which would have changed the entire outlook on his performance last week. I still think he's a strong wide receiver too, whereas Kupp is a top 1. And again, Cooper Kupp is doing the same thing he's always done when he's on the field with Matthew Stafford. That is video game numbers, week in and week out. But at least now they will probably lean on the pass more in the red zone. Now, this morning we learned Bill Belichick did sign a contract extension with the New England Patriots. So this was a surprise to me. Did not know this happened. There's been a lot of rumblings that Robert Kraft is unhappy with the direction of the team. Whether that means he's unhappy with Bill Belichick, we don't know. There always seems like there's a simmering tension between the two, not to the Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson extent, but it seems like there's always like a dynamic between the two that's not always positive. Well, what does this mean? For me, I always thought the best possible solution for Belichick, if he was looking to get out of New England, because he's got a quarterback problem and he's an aging coach. Mac Jones is not the answer, even though he was pretty solid as a rookie. I thought the Los Angeles Chargers would be the perfect destination for Belichick, right? He's got Justin Herbert there. He would finally have a major quarterback, first, talented quarterback he's had since leaving Tom Brady. We know Brandon Staley is on very, very thin ice. I don't think he's going to see next season for the Chargers. I think Staley's going to be out by the end of the year. Now they could make the playoffs and win a couple of playoff games. That might change the whole outlook there. But I always thought that was the best possible destination for Belichick. And heck, maybe even Dallas if they got tired of Mike McCarthy. That doesn't look like it's going to change now. So the fallback for the Patriots is they have to get Caleb Williams, right? That's the solution. I've been saying that the last couple of weeks as well. Caleb Williams, to me, would convince Belichick to stick around for a little bit. Caleb Williams is just a phenomenal talent. I know USC has been losing the last couple of weeks, but that's not the fault of Williams. The defense is just so bad. USC, anybody who's a college football fan sees that. They're just absolutely pathetic on the defensive side of the ball. But Caleb Williams is legit, right? I mean, he's really that good. You have Michael Penix Jr., who's really starting to move up draft boards as well from Washington. You have Ewers from Texas. You have the kid from North Carolina. So there's a lot of quarterback. Bo Nix from Oregon, who I really like. I think Bo Nix is the quarterback that nobody's talking about. That's going to be a really good pro. If you're the Chicago Bears, if you're the Arizona Cardinals, right? And amazing, the Cardinals might be doing this again at the quarterback position, going from Josh Rosen to Kyler Murray, now maybe to a Caleb Williams. If you're the Bears, enough with the Justin Fields. It's just not working. He's almost an exhausting player. Earlier this year, kind of throwing the coaching staff under the bus. I don't think he's well liked in the locker room. He's not progressing as a passer. I know he's looked better before he got injured, but again, he's always injured as well. Doesn't have a good NFL body for the position, just like Tua Tagovailoa, but he's not in the realm, anywhere near the realm of Tagovailoa in terms of being a passer. Hey, Gerard, how are you? So that's what we have to deal with there. And here's the thing too with Belichick. So the problem too for Belichick. And he's not helping himself in terms of the draft. So you remember, Bill Belichick is the same guy. As great of a coach as he is, he's not a great personnel guy. He drafted N'Keal Harry over not only Deebo Samuel but AJ Brown. Like, how bad is that, right? I mean, that's as bad as it gets. I mean, both of those guys, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, wide receiver ones, and N'Keal Harry completely bombed out. Mac Jones is bombing out. He's had a lot of other misses. Dalton Keene, Devin Asai, the two tight ends. He's trying to recreate the Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez situation. Both of those guys bombed out. Mac Jones, same thing. So, it's just not working out for him in terms of being the guy that's in charge of the offense. It looks like things really going to have to change there soon, to get him to probably, to stick around for a number of years. And getting Caleb Williams, I think, is the ultimate way to do it. Now, as far as Davante Adams is concerned, listen, the Raiders have already come out and said they're not trading him. And that makes sense because they're 3-3, right? Now, Davante Adams has that robust, a combustible personality where he's going to burn the house down, right? He's that kind of a guy, and that I think that's going to cause a lot of potential problems. Now, they should win today, right? They're taking on Tyson Bagent in the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields, by the way, is expected to miss at least 2 more games. They're not placing him on IR. So again, this just goes to show you Fields cannot stay healthy. And that's the fear already with Anthony Richardson, even though he's bigger than Fields. Injured 3 times already. He's out for the season. That's what we got to worry about with Anthony Richardson now going forward. But the Raiders should be 4-3, right? They're starting Brian Hoyer, who's a capable backup. Does that make Davante Adams happy if they start winning games? I don't know. You would think, right? I mean, it's all about winning, hopefully, for these guys, but that's not always the case. So at least Davante Adams, it appears he's not going to be somebody that's on the move. And then Christian McCaffrey, that's the other big one today. Is he going to play or not? So I think he's going to play. Like, he practiced yesterday. I think he's going to play. Is he going to get the high 20 plus touches? I don't think so, right? They're going to probably spell him more with Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell. For me, I think this is a really bad move, potential disaster for the 49ers. Listen, they lost last week because their rookie kicker couldn't hit from 41 yards, right? Or else they'd still be undefeated. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan is like panicking a little bit after that loss, but the best move here would be to sit McCaffrey for a week. He's not 100%. He didn't practice all week up until yesterday. So there is a lot of risk putting him out there at less than 100%, which he's going to be. He's not 100%. And this is a guy who's dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. You have capable backups in Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell. So why not go that route? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to force feed this. If you're a McCaffrey owner, obviously you're playing him. You still got to watch to see if he does suit up. And it's annoying that it's on a Monday night. That always adds a little bit, an extra layer of angst to the situation there. But you know, he at least should be out there. And Jack D, I have a flex spot right now. Need one of these three: Jameson Williams, Justice Hill, Cam Akers, Algier Henderson, Ahmad. Dolphins, I'm leaning Jay Will without Marvin Jones. Yeah, that's how I would lean. I mean, all those guys are really flawed. You know, Justice Hill's a part-time guy. Ahmed's not doing anything with Jeff Wilson back. You know, we got a lot of us got to make some really tough decisions. I'm actually playing Jeff Wilson in a flex on a team that's just absolutely decimated by injuries. You know, desperate times call for desperate measures. I have a 25% chance to win in this league. Like, it's just a disaster. 5-0 start, going to be 5-2 now after this. Who's on your bench? Okay, yeah. Deontay Johnson, Miles Sanders. Well, Miles Sanders, that thought I think is almost like worth sending to the waiver wire. Pick one: Lockett, Flowers, London, half PPR. All of those are good options. I would say Lockett because I think Lockett has the best chance to score out of those three since it's half PPR, but it's very close. And you're welcome, Jack. Trade Amari Cooper for James White with Achane out. You mean Rashad White? James White's retired. Johnson could take that really well. Yeah, so some other injury news today. So the Giants are not going to be without Daniel. They're going to be without Daniel Jones today. All right, so Tyrod Taylor's in there. You know, I think this is good for Darren Waller. I'm going to go on a limb right now and say Darren Waller scores today. This is going to be the week he scores. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because I just traded him straight up for Tyler Lockett in my work league, right? So Tyler Lockett, I needed another receiver, and I traded Waller straight up, which I think is a good deal for me. But that just means Waller's going to score today. Like, that's how it goes. All right, we have a $20 super chat from Gerard. Gerard, thank you, Gerard. Wow, that is very, very, very generous of you. Very, very appreciative. That's beyond nice, beyond generous, and it does really help with the channel, as I say every week. It's never expected, but greatly appreciated. $20 super chat. Thank you, Gerard. You know, my great appreciation for that. Thank you. But anyway, getting back to the $20. Wow, that's very generous, Jordan. Getting back to Daniel Jones. So he's out today, and that, you know, Taylor seems to have a proclivity to throw to Darren Waller. Like, and Taylor's always kind of thrown to his tight ends. You know, throughout the course of his history. And he's a solid player, Tyrod Taylor. You know, he moves the ball. He moved the ball pretty well for the Giants against the Bills, a tough Bills defense. But, you know, like Saquon Barkley, the entire offensive line is decimated. I have Justin Pugh, who they just brought in off the street playing left tackle. It's bad, right? I mean, they just brought in Tyree Phillips, who might play right tackle today because Evan Neal's hurt. Evan Neal's been a bust. You know, it's just bad. So, you want to stay away from this offense as much as you can. I mean, you're going to play Saquon Barkley. You have to. Wan'Dale Robinson, yeah, I guess he's kind of beat up again too. He's getting targets. He's getting consistent targets. He's the only Giants wide receiver I would even possibly trust. But and here's the other thing, guys. The wind is insane here in New York right now. Like, it's about sustained at 30 miles an hour. Like, that's how bad the wind is. All my Halloween decorations got destroyed last night. It's bad. So the passing game, just imagine the swirling winds at MetLife, right? We all know historically the wind in that stadium is really bad. So if you're a Terry McLaurin owner, you know, it may not be a smooth sailing today. You know, I think Curtis Samuel is more the short option. I think he's a decent play, but McLaurin may not be. And Deonte Banks, the rookie corner for the Giants, is playing well. So I think Terry McLaurin might be a little dicey for him today. Giants getting points. I think they win. They should win, and they have a good history against Washington. That's one team that they've always done well against. And if they don't win today, guys, Saquon Barkley has to be traded. I hate to say it, but you know, it's he's got to go. Justin Fields, 2 to 3 week injury, so he's out for the Bears. Mecole Hardman is playing for the Chiefs today. How about that move? You know, the Jets didn't do anything with Mecole Hardman, and it seems like, you know, he came in. They didn't like what they saw from him. They even put Randall Cobb ahead of him on the depth chart, and Cobb caught only 3 passes. So, you know, it was really not a good look from Mecole Hardman. So, you know, he's going to play today, but I still think this is a Rashee Rice smash spot against the Chargers. Like, this is going to be an unbelievable amount of points. I think Austin Eckler is going to go insane today. Keenan Allen will do Keenan Allen things. Travis Kelce, same thing. Like, there's going to be uber amounts of points. I cannot wait to watch this game this afternoon. And how about tonight, guys? Miami and Philadelphia. Like, we've had a lot of duds, especially having the Giants on prime time so many times. This is must-watch football. We have two great games, the afternoon 4 o'clock with the Chiefs and the Chargers, and tonight 5-1 Dolphins, 5-1 Eagles. Cannot wait. And how about the storyline there? Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts played. They were teammates on Alabama. Hurts was benched at halftime of the national championship game when they were losing. Tagovailoa comes in, throws a last-minute touchdown pass to, I believe it was Devontae Smith. I mean, that team was stacked. And Tagovailoa wound up having one of the best careers I've ever seen from a college football passer. And right now, we're seeing that version of Tua in Miami. I said it last year before the injury started. He was the MVP frontrunner. I'm saying it right now. Tua is the MVP frontrunner. Like, he is if I had to make a bet on one guy now to win the MVP, it would be Tua Tagovailoa. He is playing so well. And this offense, number one in the NFL in rushing yards per game, number one in the NFL in passing yards per game, and Tua is averaging over 9 per pass. Remember, we knocked him a couple of years ago because, Tua doesn't like to throw deep. It's all short passes to Jalen Waddle when Waddle was a rookie. Now look at him. Like, he's chucking it down the field, and he is the best, most accurate quarterback I've ever seen since Kurt Warner. Like, Kurt Warner was a perfect windows thrower, right? He threw it where the receiver could catch it and keep running down the field. That is Tua. He sees the field. He sees the play. He sees the routes before they even break. And that's why he is such a great passer. Great passer. Like, no doubt, he is a great passer. And, after the first couple of weeks of the season, I said this is the best offense since the greatest show on turf years, and I stand by that assessment as well. Devontae Smith, Mark, yeah, it's been bad. I think he's a little frustrated that A.J. Brown has gone nuclear since Brown, did a diva bitch fest after week 2. Might be getting in Devontae Smith's head a little bit. He's getting a lot of separation still. Like, I don't think it's a problem there. The Eagles, the offense in general is just not humming the way it did last year because they lost their offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen. They lost Jonathan Gannon, their defense coordinator. Like, they're just not the same team. They're not as cohesive as they were a year ago, but I think they're ultimately going to be fine. It's just way too much talent here. And as far as Devontae Smith, you're going to keep playing him, but so far he has been disappointing. I think he's like wide receiver 50-something right now, which is, far from what we anticipated. Tyreek Hill is so good, but other super fast wide receivers don't do anything. Tyreek Hill, here's the thing about Tyreek Hill. He's obviously got that great speed, but he's also a great route runner. Like, there's guys with great speed that, are not good route runners. Like, anybody remembers Torrey Smith for the Ravens? Like, he was a one-dimensional guy, right? The Giants more recently, Jalen Hyatt, great deep speed, but he doesn't have much of a repertoire in terms of route running, and the Giants are trying to develop him. So that's the difference. Like, Tyreek Hill is just sick. Like, there's just no other way. And I've said this a million times. There is nobody in the entire NFL that can wreck a game to the extent that Tyreek Hill can. Trading Bills defense for 49ers defense for the playoffs. I think it's fine. I mean, the Bills defense has lost a lot of players. The 49ers defense is legit. Deshaun Watson is going to start. Listen, how bad does that contract already look for Deshaun Watson? Like, I mean, that is as bad as it gets. How stupid, and look at Baker Mayfield. He's winning games with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they handed all of this money to a flawed human being, first of all, and a guy who looks nothing like his Houston Texan days. Like, I don't know. He's only 27. Like, how did he drop off this fast? You know what I mean? Like, he's getting hurt. It's just not flowing. I don't understand it. Christian McCaffrey, shot to play. That's the latest update there. Kareem Hunt, questionable, strained thigh. Kareem Hunt, has been beat up a lot since coming back to the team. Not sure what kind of shape he was in when he first appeared. Craig Reynolds looks like he's going to play. Zach Charbonnet is not going to play for the Seahawks. And DK Metcalf is legitimately a game-time decision. He's been questionable almost every week, but he goes out there. We have to check now with DK Metcalf. If he's out, obviously Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba, especially in those DFS leagues, Jackson Smith and Jigba becomes a really good option at a relatively cheap cost. Gibbs or Pickens? Gibbs, 100%. No doubt about it. Gibbs is going to get a lot of work today. There's my dog in the window behind me. Okay. Likes to see what's going on. What's worth, Watson or Wilson's contract? Wilson. Watson. I would say Watson. I think Watson. I made a lot of excuses for him in the beginning of the season, but he looks like complete dog shit. Like he really does. Like um, I can't even fathom how bad he's been. So we'll just have to see what goes on today. Devontae Adams will not be traded. We talked about that. Jimmy Garoppolo expected to return next week. So they're going with Brian Hoyer today. We talked about the Deebo Samuel situation. I mean, listen, Deebo Samuel, the guy can't ever stay healthy. The last 2 summers, I told you guys to stay away from Deebo Samuel, right? He had that huge 2021. Give him all the credit in the world. He was awesome. But it's just he can't stay on the field. And Brandon Ayuk is going to eat big time today, or rather, excuse me, on Monday. And George Kittle, like where has George Kittle been? Right, he's had 2 impact games, and in one of those games he only caught 3 passes, but they all went for touchdowns. Right, I mean that's as fluky as it's going to get. George Kittle has been completely absent from the offense. Very, very frustrating situation there if you're a George Kittle owner. So I just, you would think that better times would be ahead. Brock Purdy, when McCaffrey went out, he did not play well. And also, the 49ers really screwed up with the kicker. They really did. You got rid of Robbie Gould, who has never missed a postseason kick, a dependable veteran. They bring in the rookie, who's been terrible. Like, he's been really bad. And this is a championship-level 49ers team. So Kyle Shanahan really blew it on this one. Like, I think, he's putting his rest of his team's championship, outlook in jeopardy because of a kicker. Like, it was so dumb for them to move on for Robbie Gould, and even the Patriots too. Like, Nick Folk has done a great job for them, and they bring in a rookie kicker who's, I believe, 5 for 9 so far this season. So the Patriots, compounding all the other issues they have, they blew it at the kicker position as well. Another bad personnel move by Bill Belichick. KC Chargers would be very, very high scoring, 100%. A lot of points in that game. Mark Andrews, David Montgomery for Tyreek Hill. Then I traded Evans and Njoku for Kittle and Tyler Higbee. Kittle and Tyler Higbee. I don't like the second trade. I like Evans better than Kittle. But the first one for Tyreek Hill, I mean, I think that's you had to give up a lot, and you did. When Montgomery's healthy, I think he's coming back after the bye. But it's fair because Tyreek Hill has just been so good. Algier, Gainwell, or DJ Dallas. Wow, you really are in a bond. If it's a PPR league, I would have to say Gainwell because at least he'll catch a couple of passes. The Buccaneers have not stopped the run really well. I would go Algier in a standard. That's how I would look at it. I think Algier can score more than Gainwell, but Gainwell will catch some passes. I did do the spread picks. Yes, I'll give those to you guys again. I did that the other day. Let me pull up my sheet here. Buffalo and Detroit have to cover this morning. Buffalo and Detroit, yeah. So I think we talked about this. I'm 16-13-1 on the picks. So, decent, not great. Last week I was 2-3. That hurt me a little bit. Would you start Palmer over Lockett? Yes. I think I would start Palmer over Lockett because there's going to be an incessant amount of passes. And listen, Josh Palmer has been getting double-digit targets, and he's at about a 26% target share, which is really good. So, and he scored a touchdown last week, was brought back on a penalty. So I think Josh Palmer still is a really good play. All right, as far as my picks this week, so I have 5 picks this week. I like the Raiders giving 2.5 to the Bears. Tyson Bagent, I just can't see it. So I think the Raiders, Brian Hoyer is fairly decent. I think they're going to cover that game. So that was pick number 1. I like the Ravens giving 3 to the Lions. Jared Goff, a much different player on the road, and this is a very, very good Ravens team, especially defensively, they've been solid. So I do like the Ravens to cover, giving 3 to the Detroit Lions. I like the Rams giving 3 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know they're getting Deontay Johnson back. They lost Pat Freiermuth, who's now on IR. What a disaster it's been for Pat Freiermuth. The Steelers are desperate, but I think the Rams, even though they lost Kyler Williams, they have an uber passing attack, and I think it's going to do really well against the struggling Steelers team. Seahawks 7.5 to the Cardinals. I took the 7.5. This would be my weakest pick. I do like the 7.5. I can't see Seattle covering that much, especially DK Metcalf is out. It's an inconsistent offense. And then I do like the Packers giving 1 on the road to the Denver Broncos coming off a bye. Broncos are bad. And here's the thing, guys. Pick up Marvin Mims wherever he's available because it's only a matter of time. It's either going to be Cortland Sutton or more likely Jerry Jeudy that's going to get traded, right? They got to tear it all down now. I think Sean Payton tried to stay competitive at least for as long as possible, but he now realizes this is a lost cause. They got to get out. They might have to just eat this Russell Wilson contract. And to be fair, Russell Wilson has played okay this season, a little better than okay. But this is a sinking ship. I think that they should just bench Samaje Perine, go with the two youngsters, Devontae Williams and McLaughlin, see what they got there. Put Marvin Mims in. Let him play with Russell Wilson the rest of the season. Trade Jeudy. It's just not working there. Like, he's never developed. He just hasn't. Like, it's just not, it's just not happening there. So that is a really bad situation. And I'm almost certain they're going to trade one of those guys. So Marvin Mims, I think, is somebody that you should pick up now. You think Devonta Smith will be high end 2, low end 1? Yeah, I think he'll be a high end 2. I don't think he's going to be a 1. That's A.J. Brown is going to be the 1. This is still an offense that likes to run the ball. But I think Smith will be fine. I think there's a lot of panic. I think, as a matter of fact, I would buy low on him. I don't think this is a Calvin Ridley situation. In Jacksonville, you have a lot of mouths to feed. In Philadelphia, you really don't. It's A.J. Brown, Smith, and Dallas Goedert. That's pretty much it. Is Deontay Johnson better flex than Ridley? He might be. He might be more consistent. That's for sure. Should I start Addison, Lockett, or Rice? Wow, that is tough. I wouldn't start Addison, not against the 49ers. I would go Lockett. I think that even though it's going to be very high scoring, we still don't have that snap share yet with Rashee Rice. He's still in that 60-plus snap range, whereas Lockett obviously is out there every play. And if DK's out, and it's a good matchup for Seattle against Arizona. If DK is out, Tyler Lockett's going to really feast in this one for sure. I don't think there's any question about that. He's going to have a big game. Thoughts on Pickens' rest of season? Nah, I think he's waiver. He's deep bench guy, waiver trash in shallow leagues because Deontay Johnson is now going to command the majority of the looks. I took the 3 Detroit was getting. I disagree, Mark. I think the Ravens, Jared Goff does not play as well outdoors and on the road. So, I'll check back with you tonight. We'll see who's right. CMC's not playing tomorrow. I think he is, Ed. I think he is. But would I like to see him not play? Yeah, I would, because I'm playing against him in my decimated friends and family league that right now, as we speak, I'm slated to lose 139 to 107. I have a 26% chance to win. He's already gotten 19 from Christian Kirk. He's got Metcalf and McCaffrey, so both of those guys sit out. I have a prayer, but I'm starting Lockett, Osborne, and Josh Palmer as my 3 wideouts, and Josh Downs is my flex. That's how bad things are. I'm out Justin Jefferson. I'm out James Conner. I'm out Tank Dell, who's on a bye. I'm out CeeDee Lamb, who's on a bye. I have Kyler Murray on the bell. David Montgomery, I'm out. So I'm out Montgomery, Jefferson, Conner, Lamb, and Dell, all from one team that was 5-0 and is now soon to be 5-2. Do I start Justice Hill or Foreman? Foreman's going to get the majority of the touches today. They're going to really lean on him with Tyson Bagent under center. Mike Evans or Calvin Ridley. I like Evans. I think Evans has a good thing going. He's the number 1 guy, hands down, in Tampa, whereas Ridley is not in Jacksonville. What's London worth on the trade market? Now I guess Haas would be the time to trade him because, he's been fairly productive the last couple of weeks. And I don't think, Atlanta, we've seen all the interceptions from Desmond Ridder. I think that the coaching staff is now going to be like, hey, you wanted us to open it up and throw a lot more. Well, look what happened. So I think they might dial things back a little bit in terms of the passing game, maybe passing too much. And so I think they're going to go back to run heavy the rest of the season. How do I like Bell? I think Tank Dell is going to be fine. Like, listen, he had two 20-plus games already as a rookie in the first month. So he's just got to get back on the field. Would you start Lockett over Flowers? Yes, I would. George Kittle or Darren Waller rest of the season, Kittle. The Giants are just a joke. Rachaad White or Mason. That's a tough call considering I think you're going to have to go Rachaad White because I think McCaffrey's playing. Is Jackson Smith and Jigba Flock? Yes. Jackson Smith is an absolute start, 100%. He definitely warrants being there. He's a very, very talented receiver, the most talented receiver in the draft last year. Didn't end up in a great spot behind Lockett and Metcalf, but if the opportunity presents itself, i.e. Metcalf is out today, then yes, I think Jackson Smith, who's already the last couple of weeks starting to get more and more targets, I think he's coming. Bell from the 49ers. Yeah, I mean, oh, Bell from the 49ers. I'm not interested. Jahmyr Gibbs is a go. Yes, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be out there for sure. Wow, that Kyron Williams video I put out this morning like got a shitload of views and comments. You know, certain guys like when I do videos on certain guys, some of them take off like exponentially compared to others. Like any video I do on Kyron Williams goes through the roof. Like it's crazy. When I did the Nick Chubb video when he went down, it had over 1,000 views within 5 minutes. 5 minutes, it had over 1,000 views. Like that's the most successful video I've had so far this season. Last year, the Taysom Hill videos were the most successful videos. By the way, did you guys see that guy who tried to troll me on the Taysom Hill? You know, I posted a Taysom Hill season video, during the summer again this year, and he trolls me now about it when Hill's coming off his two best games of the season. Like, I mean, I've gotten very, very few trolls since I started this channel last year, but that one kind of made me laugh a little bit. Like, you can troll me, that's fine. Like, I don't really give a shit. It doesn't bother me. But at least do it when he like sucks, but not when he's coming off two straight games of 15 plus fantasy points. What should I do with Ridley? You got to play him. Listen, as soon as you bench him, he's going for 25 points. Like, that's just how it goes. Like I said today, I traded Darren Waller. He's going to score a touchdown today. You take it to the bank. He's going to score today. And yes, you have to play Ridley. He's too talented to keep on the bench. Thoughts on Ford, 19 chances last week. Yeah, Hunt may not play today. He's showing his age. I think Ford is good in small dosages. Like, he's not built to withstand a heavy workload, i.e. Kyron Williams. Look at Kyron Williams, small back, and now he's injured, right? So I think he's good as a 15-touch guy. Could JSN be the guy for me as my flex play in the playoffs over Deontay and Calvin Ridley? No, not with Lockett and Metcalf healthy. If one of those guys goes down, God forbid, knock on wood, because I own Lockett in both leagues now, then yes, but not now. It seems he doesn't go Mason or Mitchell. Mason. They're going to lean on Mason. Mason's been good. Like, Mason's been pretty good. I know Mitchell as a rookie was phenomenal, but he's having a hard time staying healthy. He hasn't exactly been, he hasn't been able to find any help. Let's just put it that way. So I got some questions about the membership part that I added on Friday night. I wanted to stress, I was getting some questions through direct messaging. All of these streams are still going to remain free. Like the membership portion of the channel is just some extra benefits. Like the biggest, the gold package is free draft guides and the private stream for just members only, which would be in addition to all the regular ones I do during the week. So like everything that has been on the channel throughout since we started remains completely free. It's just an extra layer for anybody that wants a little bit more access, wants their own emoji, shout outs, like all that other stuff. It's just an addendum to the regular channel. So I don't want anybody to think that, there's a membership now. No, all of the streams remain completely free, and they will continue to be that way. So there's no, I wanted to make sure I clear that up. All right. So yeah. So again, I'm getting a lot of questions on McCaffrey. I think he's going to play. Like, I think they want to put him out there to practice and risk re-injury without the idea of playing him. I don't think they need to play him. Like, this is a flawed Vikings team. I think you're playing with fire, and it's just not worth it. And I've said this from the beginning of the season. There has to be the long-term goal in mind. You have two capable backups. Use them. Right? We heard all summer, Elijah Mitchell's going to get more work than we anticipate. McCaffrey's numbers are going to go down. It has been the exact opposite. And I think that's why McCaffrey got hurt. It's too much on a 27-year-old back with an injury history. And if you're Kyle Shanahan, I know he wants his main guy in there. They're coming off a loss. I think if they would have won last week, McCaffrey hands down would have been out. I don't know if Shanahan's just worried about home field advantage already this early in the season with the Eagles and whatnot. But that would be a bad move if they play him. Lockett ceiling with a hamstring. He's been fully cleared now. I think it was more maintenance for Lockett, but Metcalf is a hip. But I don't think these are long-term deals to elevate JSN to a must-start. Raiders, Bears, Commanders, Giants, over both 37. I took overs both. You took the over on both. Commanders, Giants, I think is under because again the wind. The trees are whipping pretty good here in New York. So I would not take an over on Washington. I mean, I could be wrong, but The weather here is rough in terms of the wind, and wind is always much worse than rain. Start 2, PPR, London, Gibbs and Addison. The first two. I don't, the 49ers defense is tough. I mean, Kirk Cousins has turned to dog shit the last couple of weeks, predictably, once Justin Jefferson went out. I don't think it's going to get any easier for him. Addison has really kind of proven himself to be a big play, touchdown-dependent guy. KJ Osborne had a good first half, and then he faded in the second. They didn't really have to throw it against the Bears. But I do need this Vikings team to remain competitive so Justin Jefferson has motivation to come back, right? That injury was just devastating for me. 5-0 team, and I lose Justin Jefferson for a month plus. Like, it's just absolutely devastating. You could be sailing along in fantasy football, and then that happens, right? Or the Nick Chubb owners. Like, those kind of injuries are just impossible to come back from. Can't see with. Yeah, I know. There's a glare back there. Sorry. But trust me, this is really, really windy. Placement yesterday. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, 37 is not a lot, but asking the Giants to score is, they haven't scored a touchdown in like 4 games. So, that's the problem with the Giants, is they're just allergic to the end zone, and that's been the case. So Adams is still wide receiver 1. I don't think so. I think he's a top wide receiver 2. He's just not getting the targets, and Jimmy Garoppolo prefers, he prefers, basically everybody else. Jacoby Myers, I had a brain fart. I couldn't remember Jacoby Myers' name. Jacoby Myers. He's been preferring Jacoby Myers over Adams. And it makes sense because he's a short to intermediate thrower. Adams is more of a big play guy, right? And this is what I had spoken about all summer, why I didn't target Davante Adams anywhere. So this is concerning. It really is. Now, I think, obviously you're playing him the rest of the season. You're pot committed, but it's not going so good. 1,000 on the Dolphins winning side. That's a lot of chunk. That's a lot of chunk change there for sure. All right. All signs. Here we go. All signs point to Christian McCaffrey playing. So there you go, guys. Let me read this. All signs point to 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey playing Monday night at Minnesota, despite the fact he's listed as questionable. He returned to practice in a limited way Saturday and said after that he felt great. So here we go. First quarter, he's going to go out with renewed soreness and then disaster. So fuck. So I'm playing against McCaffrey. I was really hoping he was going to sit out. Damn it. Well, like I said, 26% chance to win, and McCaffrey's playing, so now I have like 0% chance to win. Tyrod looked okay. I figured it could happen on the game. Yeah, I mean, he was okay. He moved the ball. He horrible decision making though at the end of each half. Kareem Hunt may not play full PPR. Would you go Henderson, JR, or Latavius Murray? That's tough. Maybe Murray. I don't trust Henderson right off the street. I just don't, Dylan. So I can't recommend him. Latavius, I think maybe Latavius Murray, because at least he has a chance to score because they're giving him the goal line carries. What benefits George Kittle more, Debo being out or CMC being out? Well, CMC's playing. Debo being out helps him more because it takes away another passing target. London versus Tampa, or Mike Evans versus Lockett versus Arizona. That's a tough one. You have only one, Sean? Oh, God, I hate these kind of questions. I don't think you could go wrong with any of them. I would have Mike Evans first because he's the best chance to put up 100 yards, right? I can't see Lockett getting 100 yards. London, I can't see it either. Evans, I can see getting 100 yards. So that's how I break the tie there, because I think he's got the best big play out of the three of them. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, he does have a tough schedule, Death Lord, but Mike Evans, at least for now, I think is the best one there. All right, so looks like Tyreek Hill's winning the poll for most PPR fantasy points. I mean, it makes sense. AJ Brown, Tua's not getting much love. That does make sense to me. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to drop off, end the stream. Going to get myself ready for the game. So, again, make sure you have that notification button hit so you can get the instant injury analysis as we go throughout the day. Live stream to wrap it all up tonight, so make sure you stay tuned to that. Thank you all for tuning in, like always, and the super chats. I really appreciate that. So again, enjoy the games today, guys, and I will chat with all of you later. Good luck today.